What is going on, everybody? Welcome to a Chicago White Sox speed rebuild. Yeah, it's about an hour, 14 minutes, but we're going to get through multiple seasons in a attempt to win a World Series. Just one World Series. That's all we need to officially state that this rebuild has been completed. So we are choosing the Chicago White Sox for today's speed rebuild. We will be doing other teams in the future, but I thought the White Sox were a very interesting choice this season in 2020, mostly because they do have some younger players that are kind of on the verge, some veteran presence like Gio Gonzalez and Dallas Keuchel, Yasmani Grandal, which we'll talk about in just a moment, Nomar Mazara they actually traded for. So the White Sox are a team that seem to be pretty aggressive because they feel like now is their time. They have a window that they want to try to shoot for a World Series or be contenders in the American League Central. Now, if we're being honest, the American League Central is not putting up much of a fight. Outside of the Twins and the Indians, the Royals and the Tigers are cellar dwellers. So there's a lot of easy wins to pick up from those two teams. It might be a good time if you're a Chicago White Sox fan. So we saw the pitching staff. I like what they have there, especially with Michael Kopech with that A potential. And then when we move on to the positional players here, we got a good catching group with Grandal. We got a nice prospect here with Evan Skog. And that's probably said incorrectly, but you guys probably forgive me for that. First base, a little bit older. Edwin Encarnacion signed a contract last year. And Abreu at 33 years old, 86 overall. So we got some good power from first base. Second base, though, with Nick Madrigal. I'm personally making the decision in this rebuild to keep him down in AAA. I don't know how long this is going to go at this point, this stage in the game. So I want him to kind of marinate there in AAA and really get some experience and really move up in overall before we end up calling him up to the big league club. Tim Anderson, a really good player. I love Tim Anderson. I even love Eloy Jimenez even more. As an 80 overall player, came over in a trade from the Chicago Cubs, and he's got some serious raw power that he's going to put on full display here in this series. Center field probably could use a little bit of an upgrade, but Luis Robert, and yes, it's not Robert, it's Robert, Luis Robert, should be a good player for us. But this is the big get, I think, for this team is Nomar Mazara. Good player, good defense, very consistent type of hitter. I'm anxious to see how he's going to do in this full-on simulation. So let's get this thing underway, guys. We're going to start in spring training, and I always like to make sure that I'm managing all aspects of the organization. So we're going to be doing all contract extensions. We're going to be doing all trades, 40-man roster type of stuff. It's full-on manual. Although when we do simulate through the season, you guys will notice a lot of pop-ups about injuries and things like that. That will be set to auto. So when we look at contract extensions, we're looking at a full deep dive on what I'm thinking we are trying to do here for this team for the future and the short-term success of the Chicago White Sox. You see Lucas Giolito here went 14-9 last season with a 3.9 ERA. That's wildly better, substantially better than 2018 with a 6.6 ERA. It was absolutely terrible. But it's really nice to see Giolito actually taking that next step. So we'll see what happens in 2020. Maybe he's bad again. I don't know. I hope not. Because we need him to be our ace. We need him to take that role on. A guy like Carlos Rodon, though, you kind of know what you're going to get. He's been steady. He's been consistent throughout his career with about a low 4s ERA, with a 1.5, 1.4 type of whip. So you know what you're going to get from Carlos Rodon. Is it good enough? It's probably good enough for a back-end starter type of guy, number 4, number 5 type of guy. I don't see Carlos Rodon as a top of the order of your pitching staff. So I think we're going to have to address maybe 1 and 2 spots of the pitching staff, and then we'll go from there. You guys saw Reynaldo Lopez. We extended him and Michael Kopech as well. Those are 2 young guys that I have a lot of faith in. We'll see how Reynaldo Lopez turns out. Again, he's kind of one of those pitchers, kind of like Carlos Rodon. You kind of know what you're going to get, but you're hoping that they figure it out and they really turn on the jets later on in their careers. All right, so going through the free agents, there's nothing really that stands out too much, but to me, Addison Russell's sitting here, and knowing that we need a second baseman, I kind of like Addison Russell right here. He's a 71, still pretty young at 26. His arm strength at a 50, though, doesn't really bode well for shortstop. I think he's going to have to be a second baseman. Definitely not a third baseman now in his later part of his career. But we're going to give him a shot. We're going to give him a chance here. His batting average leaves a little less to be desired, right? But we're going to go ahead and give Russell a shot. And hopefully it pans out because, like I said, we got Danny Mendick there at second base and Nick Madrigal just in AAA right now. He might get the call up. We don't know. But, you know, hey, you got to sign yourself some experience if you want a shot at a championship. And Addison Russell's been a part of some pretty good teams for the Cubs in his career. All right, so let's take a look at some of our spring training numbers. This is up until the very last game of spring training. And there we got Danny Mendick getting 85 at-bats in spring training. That is a lot. There's a lot of at-bats, a lot of opportunities, a big sample size, and he hit 176. So I'm not too impressed with that. Otherwise, everybody else in the regular starting roles, they did pretty well. Now, Addison Russell hit 167. It's like, why do you suck? You're making us look bad here at this White Sox organization. Come on, man. Pitching staff-wise, everything was looking pretty decent there. Rodon really impressing me at a 3.19. Gio and Reynaldo. You guys, what's going on, man? You got an 8 ERA each. Meanwhile, Michael Kopech doing the exact same thing. He's also got an 8 ERA in 15 innings logged. Not good enough, and I think he's going to still have to go down to AAA and work on some things. We see Dylan Cease there with an A potential, by the way. 66 overall, making a case to get into that starting rotation. Although I just don't see him, based on overall rating alone, getting into that overall rotation. So we're going to stick with Reynaldo and we're going to stick with Gio in the rotation. We're going to move Kopech down to AAA to try to get him some innings, to try to get that potential up. Kind of treat him like Nick Madrigal there in AAA just to get some work in, get some opportunities, and bump that overall rating up. So you guys can see up on the screen, we are currently 9-11 and we are moving towards 500 baseball. Yes, we finally did it. We're 12-12. 12-13, 14-14, and we finish off April with a 4-game winning streak to go 17-14. And like I said before, the injuries are being left up on the screen so you guys know that I'm not backing out and I'm not doing anything like saving it and going back and simulating until I get what I want, that type of thing. So bear in mind that it's a little annoying when looking at it, but that's the reason why. I want you guys to see that I am simulating from that point on and not backing out and doing whatever. Okay, so not cheesing it, in other words. Okay, so when we look at the lineups here, Alex Conley's doing really well with a 174. Yasmani Grandal, I would have expected him to do a little bit more than what he's doing right now. 217 batting average. Zach Collins hitting well over 300. I like what I'm seeing there. Abreu with 8 home runs and a 294. I like it. Plus, Edwin Encarnacion is doing some good things as well. 250 plus batting average, multiple-digit home runs, double-digit home runs, I should say. Yohan Moncada, like to see more production out of him. 296 for Tim Anderson. That's good. Like it. Addison Russell, though, 187 and 96 at-bats. Has provided a little bit of thievery on the base pass with 3 steals, but again, that's just not going to be good enough. He does move up to a 75 overall, so that's nice to see. Eloy Jimenez, 204, sacrificing some batting average to get the power numbers going up. Larry Garcia, 260. Luis Robert, 333. Man, our offense is really struggling right now, and I think we're going to need to add a piece. I don't know if we're going to have to add a piece through pitching to try to knock down our opponent's run production so that we can kind of match that with our sucky offense right now. But I think the addition that we're going to make is third baseman for the Chicago Cubs, or more like a utility guy because you got Chris Bryant out there. It's David Bodie. First base, second base, shortstop, left field, right field, third. The versatility is crazy for David Bodie. Plus, I know he can hit. He's a decent hitter. I think he would fit really well at that second base spot. So look who we're trading. Look who we're getting rid of. Addison Russell. Go bye-bye. That $4.4 million. plus Gorkys Hernandez contract, being traded for a potentially better player in David Bodie at a lesser cost. So yeah, we just finessed the Chicago Cubs. I love it. I love it. Actually, not really, because I'm a Cubs guy. But for the sake of this series, we got to do what we got to do, right? And moving David Bodie, by the way, to second base, bumped him up +2. So he went from a 76 to a 78. And already you are seeing the effects of the David Bodie addition. We are 26-21 at this point up until the Colorado series. I think our offense just got a lot better now that we've removed Addison Russell out of this lineup and Danny Mendick kind of struggling there. You didn't want to just give him the job. It's starting to see a little bit more production, and I think as a team, the more at bats, we're starting to get out of the spring a little bit. I think it's helped out. We can see David Bodie now hitting 270. So we traded him. We traded for him at a 220 batting average, and he's plus 50 points in his batting average stat line. I love it. I love it. And guess what? He's up to an 82 overall now, being one of our better players in this 9-man lineup. Gotta love it, guys. So we just totally finessed the Cubs. Looking at the pitching staff, again, not really good numbers, guys. I like what Gio's been doing, though. He's got a 4.4. Giolito as well has been doing awesome. Carlos Rodon on a little bit of a hot streak. Aaron Bummer has been kind of the best relief pitcher that we've had thus far. Michael Kopech still doing well. 52 2/3 innings, 53 strikeouts, 19 walks with a solid ERA and whip. We're giving him a shot, guys. We're calling him up. And I know Rodon was on a little bit of a hot streak there, but you got a 6.31 ERA with a 1.9 whip, my guy. It's time to go back to the bullpen. So we give Michael Kopech the start against the Minnesota Twins. We get the win, but Kelvin Herrera snipes the W. So what ended up happening here? How did our boy pitch? How did our young guy fare? Well, not too well. 1 2/3, 3 earned with only 1 strikeout. No walks, though. So pretty unimpressive performance by Michael Kopech. Hopefully he turns it around here later on in the 2020 season. Here we are at the 2020 draft. And the reason why I'm showing you guys the draft is because at this point while I'm making this video, I have no idea how long this is going to take. I have no idea how long this rebuild will take. We could go 7 years. We could go this year. But I think it's important just to show you guys who these draft picks were so that you kind of get an idea as we go on and we go further in this rebuild. I did draft all of our players manually, but for the sake of time, I ended up cutting it and just showing you who we drafted here. I think we did pretty darn well. Got Mike Maddox, 91 potential. He was definitely one of those blue chip guys, so I love it. And the reason why I'm going after pitching staff is because, like I said, we want a guy that's going to be an immediate impact type of guy here later on in the future. Guys like Carlos Rodon might be on their way out. He's a 5-year pro, hasn't really figured it out yet. Ronaldo Lopez, kind of the same deal, right? So we focused on pitching staff maybe a little bit too much with Alex Muriel, Mike Maddox, Tyler Knott, Christopher Donovan, and then we got some pretty decent positional players here with Mariano Estrada and Andreas Castillo. A lot of these guys, actually all of them, are 75 plus in potential, which is a good place to be, and their overalls are not really that bad, all things considered. So I love our draft for year number 1, and I'm anxious to see if we're even going to see these guys. Well, that'll be pretty interesting. All right, guys, so here we go. We're nearing the end of June, and we're playing some pretty good baseball. 47 39. We didn't really end June the way that I wanted them to, but overall, we're not doing too bad. And this was amazing. Who out there hates the Houston Astros for all the cheating scandal? That's beautiful. That is beautiful. 11 runs in the first inning. Way to make a statement. And then to tack on 10 runs after that? I mean, that's insane. 20 hits on 21 runs. Oh, I love it. I love it. How I love it. I don't love this, though. 15 1/3, for Michael Kopech and a 19 ERA. So he is absolutely struggling. So we are going to go ahead and send him down to AAA. You guys saw that very quickly. Eloy Jimenez is out multiple months with an injury. That's not a good spot to be in, guys, because right now we are half a game back in the wild card race behind the Blue Jays and the Athletics. So we have to be looking for a trade. We got to be maybe even acquiring an outfielder. That's kind of the guy that I'm looking at trying to go after. Maybe a pitcher like Jameson Taillon. Really good velocity. I love Jameson Taillon. Plus he's a big guy too. Mark Canha. It was interesting to see Mark Canha here because of his numbers, hitting 341 and 249 at bats. That's quite a bit. He's having himself a great season. The OBP numbers are solid, but you saw the regression. So despite all that production, there is some regression going on with Mark Canha. So I'm deciding not to make a move. We're going to stick with the guys that got us here. We're not making a move. We'll see how this pans out. Sometimes you make moves and it ends up hurting you. It hurts the chemistry of your team. Thankfully, though, if we can just hold out a little bit longer, Eloy Jimenez only has 2 to 3 weeks left until he comes back at the major league level to help us and contribute to our playoff push. So we're going to stand pat here as we end July at the trade deadline. And there you guys go. So he's now coming back in about a week or two. And we are actually winning some games. We're winning some games. We're 60 and 45, and it's a nice break to catch because we're playing the Tigers to end July. Whether that's going to be inflated wins and we're going to be feeling good about ourselves, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. But Eloy Jimenez does come back, and now he's on a little bit of a hot streak. So he's coming back with a bang. And we win against the Cleveland Indians. It's a big win to end out July. Jimenez contributed with a home run. Looking into August, we've got a lot. We've got a lot of playoff contending type of teams here. And of course, now that Eloy comes back, Keuchel goes down. If we make the playoffs, he will be available then. It's like one thing after the next, guys. We can't catch a break. We can't catch a break. So let's just get a stats update and see how everybody's doing here. Giolito at a 3.5. He's doing amazing stuff. Keuchel still hurt. Lopez, decent. Kopech down in AAA. We might have to give Michael Kopech another call-up. It might have to happen because he's now found his stride a little bit down there. We might just have to do it. If there's any free agent pitchers available out there, please sign up for a White Sox playoff push, please, maybe. There's nobody there. There's nobody there that's better than Dylan Cease. We end up not calling Kopech up, and we give Dylan Cease the starting job as the number 5 guy. And he's actually not pitching too bad. Not pitching too bad. We're 70 and 52 as we're taking on the New York Yankees. We're only 2.5 games back from the Indians right now in the American League Central. If we take a look at the wild card standings, we are 2 games up on the Astros and the Athletics. We're up by 3 games. But now look at this winning streak. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Awesome stuff, guys. We have 1 loss in a week. You got to love that. We got another win against Boston. James McCann gets hurt. Look at the end of August, guys. We have 1 loss in 2 weeks. We went 9-1 in our last 10, and we are now 3 games up on the Cleveland Indians for the American League Central Division. That's amazing. So the fact that we decided not to make a move and ruin that team chemistry, potentially ruin that team chemistry, then to lose Dallas Keuchel, who could potentially come back during the playoffs, that was a risky move. But it all seems to be working out. Dylan Cease now 6-5 with not a very healthy ERA. But our bullpen is doing pretty solid as well. So I kind of like where we're at here. I think our offense is really what's carrying us through this season. Plus, Alex Colomé has 44 saves. That's quite a bit. James McCann out 1 to 6 days. We saw his injury pop up, but he'll be coming back soon. Jose Abreu with 24 home runs. He's the model of consistency, guys. So I love what Abreu has been doing for us. 243 for Bodie, so he's kind of seen a little bit of dip in production, but his overall keeps going up. He's an 85 right now. Madrigal is making a case for us to give him a call as well, but again, I'll leave him down in AAA. Moncada, 32 bops, over 300 batting average. Tim Anderson, 330. 330 at shortstop. That's awesome. 297 for Danny Mendick. Eloy, 268, 22 home runs. So he's showcasing the power. Larry Garcia, 286. Luis Robert, 235. I'd like to see him do a little bit more for Luis Robert, but you know what? We're going to take it. And then Nomar Mazara, 25 home runs. I think our offense is, again, what's really carrying us through this hot streak right now. Our pitching staff has been decent throughout the entire year, but I think our offense struggled in the beginning. Now starting to come on and helping us out. But then again, we lose Eloy Jimenez to another injury, costing him another 1 to 2 months. So now we're out Keuchel, and now we're out Eloy Jimenez. The playoff push is now coming down to the wire for the White Sox. Yes, we're still 89 and 57, but hey, we're 5 games up, and anything can happen. Anything can happen, especially when you've got 2 of your better players on the injured list, on the DL. It sucks. But it doesn't matter, guys, because we keep winning. We keep winning close games. 6-3, 1-0, 7-3. Love what we're doing, guys. Let's continue on this winning streak here to end out the month of September. We get an easy stretch here with Detroit, and against Cleveland, winning that series 2-1 was absolutely huge for us. We finished the season with over 100 wins. We get 101 wins and 61 losses. It was one of the best teams in the MLB, and we really didn't do a whole lot. We pretty much stand pat. We had good production out of Keuchel, good production out of Gio Gonzalez. He won 14 games. Actually, that's Carlos Rodon, 14-9 for Carlos Rodon. 16-game winner, Gio Gonzalez. That's amazing. Ronaldo Lopez, 8-10, although he has a hot streak going on. Then Dylan Cease was a positive pitcher. He was a winning pitcher. He went 8-6. Kelvin Herrera vultured 9 wins somehow during the season. So we kind of got a little magic. That would indicate to me we got a little magic, late inning magic going on if Kelvin Herrera is coming in and then getting wins. So a lot of ties, a lot of games that we were losing but ended up taking the W. Love what David Bodie did. 20 home runs, 250 some odd batting average, pluses all over the place. Got an 86. He's up to an 86. It was his career year. It was a career year for him. 254, 11 stolen bases, most home runs he's ever had, most RBIs he's ever had. Moncada went nuts. Tim Anderson went crazy, 330, almost 100 RBIs. Danny Mendick was a guy that pulled his own weight. Leury Garcia, 295 with 21 stolen bases. Like, this offense really came on during the year to kind of push us into the playoffs. And I really think that that's what happened to help us out. There you go. Yoan Moncada, Gold Glove, Silver Slugger for Tim Anderson. JD Martinez winning the most valuable player for the American League with 50 some odd home runs. That's crazy. It's crazy. So congratulations to JD Martinez. But there we go. We got to look at our boy here, Tim Anderson, at Silver Slugger for shortstop. Looking at Rookie of the Year, Hunter Cole and Lorenzo Quintana were one of the top 2 guys there. Not that we're too concerned about the Rangers or the Astros. We got the White Sox to worry about. All right, guys, so let's get into this Oakland Athletics matchup. We are here at the ALDS. We're simulating some games here. Up until possibly a Game 7, I will show this. So let's see what happens here. We are 2-2. 2-2. I said Game 7. I meant Game 5. Game 5. It's a good lineup, man. It's a good lineup for the A's. We got a lot of things to worry about here with this team. And Lucas Giolito is going to be the guy that gets the nod for this game. Hopefully we get the W, guys. It's been a lot of offense. The winner has destroyed the loser. There have not been any close games so far in this ALDS. All right, let's get this game started. We got a 3-2 count on Ramon Laureano. The strike 3 is going to be swung on and missed off a nasty slider. Look at that pitch. Ooh, dirty. Giolito looking dirty so far. We got Tony Kemp with a little flare out there to shortstop. Tim Anderson's going to make the play for the second out in the first inning. Now here's Marcus Semien going to swing and a miss at a 94-mile-an-hour fastball that was painted on that outside corner. Daniel Mengden got the win the last time he came out against the White Sox here with a 1+ ERA. He's been pitching pretty good so far in this American League Divisional Series, but he's going to lead off the bottom of the first with a walk to Lurie Garcia, and then Robert is going to strike out. Looking, Tim Anderson going to ground out to Mengden, going to flip it over to second, not going to double him up though, as the fielder choice makes Tim Anderson 0 for 1. Yoan Moncada, can he get a big hit here? We need one. But we're going to get a stolen base. So Tim Anderson does his part to make up for that fielder's choice, and he's going to get a good jump off of Daniel Mengden, slide in safely to second. So now we need Moncada to come through with a runner in scoring position. Can he do it? He swings at a slider that was inside, and he got a little bit jammed there. Still put a good swing on it, but odds are you're not going to be putting that ball into the seats or in the open spots of the field. Like Ramon Laureano here in the top of the third inning is going to lift a little fly ball and get a base hit right in front of Nomar Mazara. So unfortunately, that does fall in, and now we got Tony Kemp up with a runner with runners on first and third. Ground ball here to Abreu. Back to Tim Anderson. Nice job by Abreu to get that double play started. And way to convert. So the White Sox double up the A's. And we're going to go here to the bottom of the third inning. And then David Bodie swinging and missing. Not looking good. We're still looking, guys. We're still looking for our first hit. But Tim Anderson. Gotta love that. That's a Gold Glove play, man. Who says you need to win the Silver Slugger? Give him a Gold Glove while you're at it, too. 16 feet covered, and then look at that fastball. Maybe not a fastball, about 80 miles an hour. It's Tim Anderson's fastball, though, apparently. He also gets a base hit. So all things are going good here for Tim Anderson in the last inning and a half. Gets on with a single. And then Moncada, again, that slider high and inside has really got him seeing things, man. He strikes out looking. Nomar Mazara here, going to lift a little fly ball to left field. That's going to drop. So now we have business going on. We got business. Jose Abreu going to draw a walk to leave bases loaded here, and Grandal. Come on, Yasmani. You're more clutch than that. He's going to lift a fly ball out there to left. And the A's get out of a jam. So Daniel Mengden still pitching well at the end of the fourth inning. Let's go to the top of the fifth with Stephen Piscotty up. Giolito, 75 pitches, so he's getting into a little bit of a pitch count trouble. And Lurie Garcia bobbles it. And 65 speed is coming around third, and they are pushing it. They're going to score. That's Matt Chapman. Oh, man. So Piscotty comes through with a line drive single that allows Matt Chapman to score from first base. That cannot happen, Lurie. That cannot happen. So the A's take a 1-0 lead, and Collins is going to strike out on a really, I don't even want to give Mengden credit for that pitch. That was a really bad pitch to swing at, but he offered anyway. And the White Sox are done, and we still can't score. Let's go to the top of the seventh inning, and Garcia going to track this thing down. Nice play out there in center field to get the first out of the seventh inning. Next up, ground ball to third base to Moncada. Back around the horn we go for a double play. So good job by the White Sox. Mazara comes up here, base hit through the shift Gotta love that. And Bob Melvin comes out and says, you know what, kid, you done. You done. Thanks for the effort. We're going to have to go with Yusmeiro Petit with a 9 ERA in 3 innings. You'd think we could take advantage of that, but Jose Abreu was going to ground out into a double play. He made it close. The big man made it close. Nice hustle. But again, our offense just can't seem to get out of our own way. Steve Cishek, we're going to call on him to shut down this A's top of the order. So Laureano strikes out. Kemp strikes out. Cishek with that funky delivery is giving these guys fits. He's going to strike out the side. So Steve Cishek, awesome job to hold down the Athletics lineup in a winner-take-all situation. Now, 1-0 game here, and
that ball hit deep, way back. Wells, if the ball looks up, you can put it on the board. Yes, mercy.
Yes, yes, Hawk Harrelson with that call, baby. David Bodie with the solo shot, and Melvin's got himself looking at the dugout wall. He's looking at the dugout wall. That's awesome. That's awesome. So our trade, it seems to be working, right? If we can get this W, oh, that'd be great. That'd be great for the speed rebuild. Look at that swing. David, nice job, buddy. He knew it as soon as he hit it, and so did Liam Hendricks. He knew that that thing was gone as soon as it left the bat. And now Matt Olson going the other way is going to go off the MLBshop.com sign and a leadoff double on a 3-1 count. Leadoff double. It's going to put the A's back in business here. Cishek's still out there, and he's going to walk Chris Davis. This is not going well. This is not going good. Chapman going to swing and a miss, though. That was good. That was a solid thing to have happen. We need that to happen. Jace Fry, though, he's coming in. 5 innings so far in this postseason. 1.8 ERA. He's doing really, really well. And then Austin Allen going to flip a little looper right in front of Robert, and they're going to challenge. They're coming home. Matt Olson going to slide in safely, and the Athletics take the lead. 2-1 on a little flare right in front of Luis Robert. Jace Fry still out there, and a bunt attempt is going to land right in front of Grandal. He ends up throwing to second base as Allen didn't move, which, I mean, he was kind of caught in no man's land there. If he does take off and Grandal catches it, it's a potential double play situation. So we got 2 outs now, and Fry makes a nice play back over to first base to get the out. So unfortunately, we are down to our last 3 outs, and we need 1 run to keep the game going. And Tim Anderson going to strike out. The White Sox hopes and dreams are fading quickly. Moncada with a little pop-up to Chapman. He's going to make the play. And we are down to our last out here. So here's Nomar Mazara. Can he make something happen? A little ground ball to Tony Kemp. And he makes the throw to first. And this game is over. So the Oakland Athletics defeat the Chicago White Sox in the 2020 ALDS. And they are moving on. So it's pretty much back to the drawing board for our Chicago White Sox. But hey, guys, you know, it was a pretty solid first year, I would say. A very successful first year of our rebuild. Unfortunately, though, we ran into a good pitching performance from Daniel Mengden. 6 innings, 3 hits, 6 Ks, and only 2 walks. So let's go ahead and simulate the rest of the postseason. And the Dodgers actually defeated the Oakland Athletics in the World Series. So it kind of makes me feel better that we lost to the AL representatives in the American League Divisional Series. Now we got some decisions to make as we head into year number 2. What are we going to do with guys like Alex Colomé, Steve Cishek, Gio Gonzalez, who won 16 games last season? What are we going to do with these players? It's the most that Gio has had in quite some time. I think that might be a career year. So we're going to go ahead and offer him that contract. At a 79 overall player, he's going to fit as a number 3, 4, maybe 5 guy, depending on what we decide to do with the free agents that are going to be available and if there are any guys that we can acquire via trade. Kelvin Herrera, he's got a little bit of a bump there in the overall rating to a 73, but he's still got that D potential, and I'm not going to bring him back. I'm going to make the decision not to bring him back. Yes, he was good for us. Edwin Encarnacion was good for us. I'm going to say no to him coming back as well. And Lurie Garcia, I want to bring Garcia back, even though, yeah, he made that very critical error in center field when it mattered the most, allowing one run for the Athletics. You can't base all your decisions on one play. So we're going to try to bring him back for some stability there in center field. Nomar Mazara has deserved a player option, in my opinion, and a long-term contract, so we're going to try to bring him back as well. Carlos Rodon, going to offer him salary arbitration as well as Jace Fry. Dylan Cease, he's moving on up on my board. I like Dylan Cease. He's up to a 72, so he got a bump by +6 from last season. He's now a 72 overall player. And all those guys you see down below in tender contracts, I'm going to go ahead and sign most of those players. I don't think you guys are really too concerned about the minor leaguers right yet. But we see a lot of big name free agents, namely Mookie Betts and Trevor Bauer as the top guys. And I'm looking at like left field. I know we have Eloy Jimenez, but the injuries that he sustained last season are kind of concerning to me. So I'm thinking about trying to acquire some left field or some outfield depth to try to help us out there. Yeah, I mean, Jock Peterson would kind of battle for time with Eloy Jimenez in the mix, being a left-hander. So would Michael Brantley. But I think either of those guys would help us out quite a bit in that regard. Mike Fiers, I'm looking at Mike Fiers not as a starting pitcher. He's a 72. He had a 3.05 ERA last season as a starter, but I'm looking at him more like a bullpen guy. He's a little bit older. I think he could serve our bullpen pretty well. It's a nice, cheap little option that ends up making a lot of sense for us with simulation style. He apparently is loved by the CPU. So we're going to go after Mike Fiers and Brandon Morrow. We're going to try to offer Brandon Morrow a pretty decent-sized contract to be our closing pitcher, as we're going to move Alex Colomé to a setup role along with Bummer. So both of those guys, we got a left-hand option, a right-hand option. And then we're looking at Jimmy Nelson as well. He went 13-5 as a starter last season. I'm going to try to do the same thing with Jimmy Nelson, is put him in the bullpen with Mike Fiers to try to bolster that bullpen, because we know the old adage is, in the postseason, you only go as far as your bullpen will take you, right? Look at Jock Peterson's numbers. 245. You know what you're going to get from Jock Peterson. He's going to hit a lot of home runs. He's going to hit for power, not a lot of average. He will strike out a ton. But look at Michael Brantley's strikeout numbers. He's never in his career reached over 100 strikeouts, so he's always putting the ball in play. And that's the type of guy that I think can complement Eloy Jimenez. So we're going to go offer Michael Brantley a contract. And look at this. Look how funny that this is. Mookie Betts, he gets traded from the Red Sox to the Dodgers and then ends up signing the next year to the Red Sox. So who won the deal? You got to ask yourselves, who won the trade, right? Well, the Dodgers got a World Series out of it, and then Mookie Betts goes back to Boston. So I guess you could say maybe it was a net neutral game, right? So there are the free agent negotiations there, guys that we signed, that we brought back through tender contracts. You guys also saw that we ended up getting Michael Brantley to our roster. However, that move might be kind of frowned upon now, because now we have an offer for Andrew Benintendi from the Red Sox, but they are asking for a hefty price tag with Michael Kopech with that A potential. I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can pull the trigger on this one. I mean, we just look at his salary at 2.5 and we're getting that type of production. He's already going up in overall rating. And then we're also getting rid of Luis Basabe at a 70 overall with a B potential. I'm not too worried about Basabe, especially with the purpose and the goal of this speed rebuild. This is tough, man. He's a 75. He's a 75, and that kind of arm talent is really hard to find, especially with that potential. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say we're going to decline the Benintendi offer, mostly because I don't want to give up. I don't really want to give up Kopech. And I think a lot had to do with that because we already got 2 left fielders with Nomar Mazara in right field, center field with Larry Garcia. I don't know. We might be on outfield overflow. So it didn't make a whole lot of sense for me. But you guys saw we were actually looking at German Marquez. I was thinking about possibly acquiring him in the offseason, but that never came to fruition. And then we ended up winning 1 out of 2 arbitration cases, one being Carlos Rodon and the other being Jace Fry. All right, so taking a look at our roster right now, Michael Kopech with 3 innings so far, and he's looking pretty solid. He's looking like he's having a pretty good spring training, and that's a good sign. That's a very, very good sign as we really dive deeper and think about if we're going to move him up to the major league level, if he's going to start with us at the MLB level, or if he's going to still go back down AAA. I would hope that he plays well enough to stick around. I really hope that he plays well enough to stick around. I'd hate to use another minor league option. But we finished spring training at 14-14. Not the greatest, but we'll take it. We'll take it. Offense, yet again, kind of struggling there up at the top. 260 for Nomar Mazara, 270 for Abreu, 273 for Grandal, 202 for David Bodie, Collins at 183. Brantley was a nice pickup. He had a nice production spring. Mendick at 160-ish. Luis Basabe 600. That's the one thing I hate about spring training in this game. I wish that the CPU had a little bit more knowledge about getting the bench guys more involved and get more at-bats that way. I guess you just have to user that up and monitor it. But Ronaldo Lopez still struggling at a 5.5. Giolito still pitching great at a 3.03. Gio Gonzalez as well, 5 ERA. Rodon at 5.22. Cease. Our pitching, again, not looking so hot. But Kopech in 14 2/3, I think he did enough to win a job. I think he did enough. So I believe we're going to move him into the starting rotation. I think that that's just the move that you have to make. Really do. So I think that that's what we end up doing, guys. So we get the opening day win against the White Sox here, 5-0. And again, Giolito was just amazing. He was great. Looks like Tim Anderson had a home run. He went 1 for 4 for 3 RBIs. He's really the main factor of our offense. Gotta love that. Gotta love that. And then Giolito actually went 9 innings with 11 strikeouts. I mean, what more do you want from this guy? He's putting the team on his shoulders, on his right arm as well. We're not doing too hot as a team, though. We're currently 6-11, and the pitching staff has been terrible. We ended up calling down Gio Gonzalez. Yes, we moved him down in favor of Michael Kopech, and he's not looking good either. Keuchel, 12 ERA. Kopech in the 5s. Offense is still sort of struggling here, as Abreu has not been hitting well. Bodie has not been hitting well. No power, no juice. Where is it at? We're looking for it. Moncada and Tim Anderson, mostly the guys that are providing that juice. 234 for Eloy, 214 for Michael Brantley. So far, the offense, again, is not doing a whole lot. We're already mid-April, and the power numbers have yet to come, have yet to happen. But we're starting to see the offense start to kick it into gear, just like last year. Just like last year. We're going to finish April with a 16-18 record, and as we move into a stats update, we can see that the pitching numbers have gotten better. The offensive numbers have gotten better. 10 home runs in April for Eloy Jimenez. That's crazy. It's crazy. Jose Abreu now with 6 home runs, 5 home runs for Timmy Anderson. David Bodie, he's got one. He's got one, but take note there. 390 in the first month of play for Tim Anderson. 390. That's got to be a league lead. It's got to be a league lead. He's definitely got to be in the MVP discussion right there so far in the spring. Jimmy Cordero pitching really well. Danny Mendick at a 270. That's pretty solid. And then Kopech is at a 4.3. I'll take that. I will take a 4.3. We got on a little bit of a winning streak here to start off May, and we've only lost twice in 3 weeks. Make it 3 times, 4 times in 3 weeks. But we are moving past the 500 mark, guys, at 28-28 now, and we're back below 500 against Detroit to finish May off. So what's the problem here? So what's going on with the White Sox right now? Is it the offense? Is it the pitching staff? Like, what is happening here? But we do see that the offense has kind of kicked it into an extra gear. David Bodie up to 276 at 5 home runs. Eloy Jimenez now at 17 home runs. Luis Robert and... Oh, I did it. Luis Robert and Lurie Garcia. That battle right there... Yeah, Lurie should be I think Lurie should be the starter. We'll end up moving Lurie over to center field to get him to start. But the pitching staff. What to do about this pitching staff? 6 again for Carlos Rodon. 4.92 for Michael Kopech. Again, I will take that if you're a number 5, number 4/starter. And between Rodon, Lopez, or Jimmy Nelson, I think it's just time to make the call. We're going to put Jimmy Nelson into the starting rotation over Reynaldo Lopez. You heard it here. We're going to do it. Jimmy, we're going to need you, buddy. We're going to need you to find that Milwaukee Brewers type of Cy Young. He never won the Cy Young, but we need that type of performance. He was a really good pitcher out there. We need it. We got some good W's there. In this draft, I actually let the computer do it. So I'm kind of doing a little bit of both. I think we had too good of a draft when I did it, so to even things out a little bit, we had the CPU take care of this one, and we can see how that played out. Not very good. But of course, Jimmy Nelson then gets hurt. That sucks. But we're starting to win games. Maybe pushing Rodon back to the bullpen kind of cleared his head a little bit. You can see him losing 2-9 in the game that he started. But we're winning games as a whole, and our offense is really, again, the reason why. We're 42-38 right now. And against Detroit, we sweep them, and we win the series against Texas. So closing out the month, we have a trade offer from the Philadelphia Phillies. They want to give up Robert Stock, who's pitching pretty good. He's in 22 games, and he's got about a 1+ ERA. And they want to acquire a former Philly, Drew Anderson. I think this is kind of a no-brainer for us. We're trading a 59 overall player with a B potential for a 78 overall pitcher. Yeah, we're going to do that. We are definitely going to do that. It bolsters our bullpen. It helps us out a little bit because we have bullpen issues. And with Robert Stock coming on board, we are moving Reynaldo Lopez out of the bullpen. He's going down to AAA. We actually have somebody that's involved in the home run derby this year. It's Eloy Jimenez. So that's kind of cool to see that the 27-year-old is starting to get some recognition, right? He's hitting .295, 27 homers with 90 RBIs. Crazy. He's in the MVP race right now. That would be huge. No wonder the White Sox are doing so well this season with our pitching staff struggles. It's because of our offense. It's totally because of our offense. Taking a look at the other award races out there, the Rookie of the Year. I'm always interested in the Detroit Tigers and what they're doing. Wander Franco, one of their top prospects. That was, I guess, you have to do some digging. He must have been acquired by the Tampa Bay Rays, or from the Tampa Bay Rays in a trade, possibly last season. Looking at the All-Stars for the American League, we got Brandon Morrow here. No starting pitchers to speak of. Plus, we have Eloy Jimenez. They're starting in left field for the AL All-Stars. American League will end up beating the National League in the 2021 All-Star game. So as we head towards the end of July, I'm already starting to think in the back of my mind, like, what are some things that we need to focus on and trying to fix of this team? Are we going to have to focus on starting pitching? are going to try to focus on adding to his strength and adding to offense. And then the Cincinnati Reds throw this type of offer to us. I'm like, hell no. We're not getting rid of our ace in the middle of a playoff race. That's just not going to happen. Also, the Royals want us to give up Yoan Moncada. So I can already feel like this is the way that the trading deadline right now is going to work for us. Is a lot of weird offers that really don't make a lot of sense for us, right? We got Dallas Keuchel, who's hurt with some inflammation there. He's going to be out for a couple days. Michael Kopech is now up to an 81 overall. Cease has been pitching decently, so I'm not too concerned about those two players. Giolito, not worried about him either. But this is a huge series for us against the Twins. We're 62-46. They're currently 6 games up on us. And then as we look into August, we've even got a lot more difficult matchups to work with. So we're going to need a big push. We're only a game back from the Rays and the Royals in the AL wildcard, so I think we're going to need a splash. We're going to need a splash. That's all there is to it. I'm looking at Jameson Taillon. We tried to acquire him last season, but it just didn't seem like that was going to work. And this trade is actually going to require us to get rid of Danny Mendick. And he's got that B potential, man. He's a 1-year pro, 27 years old, starting to come into his own a little bit. This is tough. I'm okay with getting rid of Adam Engel and Reynaldo Lopez, but this is kind of the cherry on top, man. Like, Mendick has been pretty solid for us. He's got a .992 fielding percentage. He's a nice little player. I just don't feel like I can pull the trigger on that. So we're going to go ahead and look again at German Marquez. I like German Marquez. He's having a really good year out in Colorado with a 3.29 and a 1.0 whip. And that's the move we're going to make. So we get rid of our catching prospect. And that was really the drawback of that move, in my opinion, is getting rid of a kind of a coveted prospect with that B potential. But, you know, for the purpose of a speed rebuild, we're trying to win now. We're trying to win the World Series right now. I feel like we have the team to do it. Look at the offense. Look at that offense. Abreu hitting 24 home runs. David Bodie hitting 310. Moncada, 25 home runs. Love it. You love to see it. Our draft pick. Our draft pick's doing well down in AAA. 20 home runs for Tim Anderson. 42 home runs. 129 and 307 for Eloy Jimenez. Oh my God. Oh my God. He is going crazy. I really feel like he's the reason why we're doing so well. I really feel like that. We have a huge month of September coming up, guys. So let's go ahead and get these games simulated. What do you say? We're going to take it a week at a time just so we can kind of make some decisions on lineup or pitching staff or whatever. We did not have a very good first week in September. The second week was better. We only had 1 loss during that week time span. So where are we at here in the standings? If you guys look in the middle bar there, we actually are the 3rd ranked team in the majors. So MLB The Show loves us, but we're just struggling right now to try to find our groove. Simulate one more week. We have another 1-loss week. We went 6-1 that entire week. That is simply amazing, guys. We are making this strong push for the playoffs in that wild card spot because we got the Twins and the Indians ahead of us here. This is getting crazy, guys. So the Twins have already clinched the division, so we can't win the division. The only way we can get in is through the wild card spot. And we get Oakland and Minnesota and Tampa Bay. Oh, baby, did we make it? We got it. We got it. We finished 94-68. We've made the postseason, and we are going to be taking on the Tampa Bay Rays in a 1-game sim. Lucas Giolito against Chris Paddock. But first, we got to check out and see if our boy won the MVP, and he did. Eloy Jimenez is going to win the American League MVP, hitting .298, 142 RBIs. Wow. So maybe it's just my simulation, but maybe you guys might want to consider in your franchise modes, maybe breaking the bank to go after a guy like Eloy Jimenez. Just saying, because apparently he's insane in MLB The Show simulation. Tim Anderson, this is just a review of a season stats review, guys. The end of season 2021 year-end statistics. We're going to cycle through our starting lineup here. So Tim Anderson played really well. Yoan Moncada had 28 bops. Did awesome. 302 for Michael Brantley, 22 home runs, so he was very productive. But Eloy Jimenez was the big man on campus for us. Jose Abreu, 26 home runs as well. So did all of our guys hit 20 home runs? Because that would be crazy. David Bodie. He's the odd man out, but he did hit 298, so I'm going to take that. But every guy in our lineup hit 15 plus home runs. That's crazy good. So again, our offense is what drove the production. German Marquez still pitched well for us. He's now up to a 91. Giolito pitched great. Dylan Cease at a 4.7. Went 12-10 during the season. That's fine. I like that production there. Dallas Keuchel won 19 games for us at a 4.5 and a 1.3. That's solid enough in a sort of juiced ball era. A lot of offense in today's game. 5.53 for Michael Kopech. He did have a winning record at 12-11, but he is getting a lot of a bump in an overall rating. Let's go to the bullpen here. Rodon actually kind of picked it up a little bit in the bullpen. Tehran Guerrero, Stock, all these guys in the bullpen. Bummer. I love it. I like this bullpen. I think it's a good bullpen to take into the playoffs. We see Bummer there at an 88. Colomé starting to get a little bit of a regression. And then Brandon Morrow doing well too at 39 saves. So, with as good as a team as we had, let's simulate this playoff game. We got the win against the Rays, and now taking on the Boston Red Sox, we are going into a game number 7. Game 7, where we are changing it to make sure that Lucas Giolito gets into this game, and we sim it, and we're going to the American League Championship Series against an opponent that we're not sure who it is quite yet. So let's move on. It's TBD. Giolito pitched very, very well for us here. Let's take a look and see what his production was. We had good offensive production yet again. Abreu with 2 for 4, 2 ribbies. A homer for Robert Abreu. I like it. I like it. I like it. Let's see how our boy here did. 6 innings, 3 earned, 7 strikeouts. You love to see it. And what do you know? What do you know? An ALCS matchup between the AL Central teams, Minnesota Twins and the Chicago White Sox. Currently 2-2. And I want to plot this out a little bit, because we have Giolito going on the mound for us tonight. We'll have Marquez in the next game. But if we're smart, we could use Giolito. Oh, that's a big win for us, guys, because now we have a game 7, and Giolito is on 3 days rest against Chris Archer. In a pivotal game to go to the World Series, we're starting him, and we made it. We made it. Simulate that game, and Lucas Giolito, guys, has been a stud. He's been absolutely a stud for us. And we're going to the World Series against the Pittsburgh Pirates, and we are now up 3-1 against the Pirates. And as a formality, we are making sure to do some quick manage for you guys watching here tonight, so that we can enter the game in when we're going to win the World Series. Right? We want to see a celebration. We don't want the little pop-up screen that says, congratulations, you won the World Series. No, we want the celebration, right? What's the celebration? All right, so we got Dylan Cease on the mound. He's pitched well for us all year long. I say that loosely. He's been decent, but he's shutting down the Pittsburgh Pirates right now. No hits in 2 innings, and then as soon as I say that, Brandon Lowe gets a stolen base. Luckily, though, for Cease, we get out of that inning. Let's go to the top of the 3rd. Moncada with Tim Anderson on base. We're going to go ahead and try to steal second here to see if we can't get something moving against Jameson Taillon. Is Jameson Taillon going to make me pay for not trading for him? We had 2 opportunities to do it, and I elected not to. So Jacob Stallings on second, Kevin Newman here with a single, and then, of course, Jason Martin with the RBI. So Cease against Sano. We're going to try to pick off Jason Martin. I'm just testing things out to see if we can get lucky. And he's going to strike out Miguel Sano. So it's currently a 1-1 game here in the top of the fourth. Jameson Taillon still pitching great. It's kind of a rubber match. Not a really rubber match. It is a pitcher's duel going on right now. Taillon shutting us down yet again. Dylan Cease gives up a single. No! That's terrible. He gives up a single to Taillon and then gives up a home run. Wow. Talk about unlucky. Now against Miguel Sano, we're going to have to make the call. We got to make the call, guys. We got to get him out of there. Got to get him out. He pitched well. He pitched good enough to get a win. Just our offense is not coming through against Jameson Taillon. He's making me pay. I said it. He's making me pay for not acquiring him. Just think about that. Had we acquired Jameson Taillon, would the Pirates even be here right now? Would they be a thorn in our side in an elimination game? Probably not. Probably not. We do have some offense going here, though. Eloy is on second. Abreu is on first. Grandal grounds out into a double play. And David Bodie come through. It's going to fly out. It's going to fly out. So let's go to the bottom of the seventh inning here. And Guerrero still pitching good. Mazzara gets a single. Guerrero, we're gonna have to bunt him over. We have to bunt him over. So Mazzara gets over to second base. Tim Anderson gets a walk. Moncada strikes out. Brantley walks. Oh baby. And here comes the AL MVP. Eloy freaking Jimenez. Look at this guy, man. 2 for 3, 2 singles and an RBI. Can he come through for us? Here's a line shot. It's going to go foul. Why could not that have gotten into green space, into fair territory? Here's the 1-1 pitch to Eloy Jimenez with bases loaded. He sends a gap shot deep, but Reynolds camps underneath it. He's going to make the catch. Ugh. The woes continue for the Sox, guys. Next inning, in the bottom of the eighth, Jace Fry is coming on the mound, and Miguel Sano puts a cap on this game with a 2-run home run. And that is going to keep the Pittsburgh Pirates in the series. And now, we move to a 3-2 series at home. We have a chance to win it in front of the hometown fans for the first World Series championship in White Sox history since 2005. And with German Marquez on the mound, I think I like our chances. I really do. Against Joe Musgrove, we should do work. We should clean up right here, right now. So far, though, not looking good. Not looking good. We're getting a lot of strikeouts. We're getting a lot of groundouts. Musgrove is keeping us off balance. Again, more strikeouts. I don't know what's going on with our offense, guys. It's kind of concerning because our pitching has not been amazing all year. Our offense is what carried us, and now that our offense in the last 2 games is kind of going down the crapper, we might just blow this. We might just blow this World Series, and we might need to do a part number 2 for speed rebuild since we are now at the hour-long mark of this thing. All right, so we get a walk and a stolen base and another walk, and now with bases loaded and Josh Bell up. Fielder's choice. Thank God we get out of the inning. Joe Musgrove, though. Can you guys see the box score right now? We're through 6 innings, and we don't have a hit. We're getting no hit in a World Series game by Joe Musgrove. Strikeout, ground out, fly out, make it 7 innings. Marquez is still out there. He's still grinding to try to keep us in this game. We need him. We need him. We can't turn to the bullpen. If we turn to the bullpen, it's probably over. Bottom of the 8th, fly out, strikeout, ground out. Are we gonna get no hit? Are we gonna get no hit to force a game 7? Are you kidding me right now? Marquez has gone 9 innings. Or did he? No. With bases potentially juiced. Oh, God. Runners on first and second. He gives up 2 RBIs. And now it's 3-0. And guess what? Guess what? Joe Musgrove does not get the no-hitter. It is a team no-hitter. The White Sox got no hit in a game number 6 in front of the hometown fans. What does that do to morale going into this game number 7? To be honest with you, if you lose in a close game in game 5, the way that we did, and then we get no hit in game 6, how could it get any worse for game 7? Right? Well, we are turning to our stud, Lucas Giolito. We need you, bud. We need you in the worst way possible. 3-2 count here. Here's a fly ball to deep part of right field, and it looks like Mazara's got it. He tracks it down nicely. Here's a ground ball here to Moncada. He's going to make the nice little throw, nice little flip there to first base, and we are now out of the first inning. That's a good inning for Lucas Giolito and the White Sox. Here's Tim Anderson going to pop up to the pitcher's mound. Somebody's got to call that. Not Keller. And third baseman makes the play. All right, let's go to the White Sox. Second hitter here, that's going to be Moncada. He's going to ground out to Keller, the pitcher. And we're going to Michael Brantley coming up. He's going to send a ground ball to third baseman. Again, a lot of ground balls here for the White Sox, and we're still looking for our first hit in 10 innings. Now here's a deep shot in the top of the 3rd inning, and that's Newman. He's going to get a double off of the wall out there, and that's going to be a 2-out double. Giolito in a little bit of trouble here. We need a big pitch, and that's going to be a base hit up the middle. Here comes Robert with the big-time throw to catcher. Grandal not even going to attempt the tag, and the Pirates are now leading 1-0 off that smoking line drive back up the middle. It was a really strong throw, but just runner got a good read. Here is Mendick coming up in the bottom of the 3rd inning with nobody out. He's going to get a double in the gap. Now that's a way to respond, especially if the Pirates get that run. Mendick making me feel proud by not getting rid of him. Here's a ground ball and up. Nice little flip play there. Ooh, nice play. That's a really good play by the Pirates' second baseman. Tim Anderson in the same bottom of the 3rd. We are going to get a walk after that ground ball ended up moving Mendick over to third base. And here comes Moncada sending a long fly ball to deep center field. And that's going to be good enough to get the runner in. And we have now tied the Pirates in this game 7, this pivotal game number 7. Win or go home. Start again. Start another episode of Rebuild Time. And what do you know? Brandon Lowe, the former Tampa Bay Ray, is going to hit a solo home run in the top of the 4th. And Giolito is upset. I would be too, especially if I'm pitching and I know that our offense has struggled. It's literally all the pressure is on you. All the pressure is on you to make sure that this does not get out of hand. We need this game to stay within striking distance because our offense has not come through, guys. Here's a deep fly ball to center field. Luis Robert is going to make the play. Nice job out there. And now here comes Mendick again. Is he going to come through? He gets a little lazy looper to center fielder. Falls in. Now in the bottom of the 5th inning with runners on first and second. I love it. It's a really good swing. Get the ball in play. Good things will happen. Robert going to ground out here to Josh Bell. Now it's up to Tim Anderson to come through for us here in the bottom of the 5th. This is starting to get a little bit dicey here, guys, because basically we have 4 innings. We have 4 innings to find a way to take the lead here. And Anderson, oh man. Just foul. So Anderson has another shot here. 2-2 count with 2 runners on and 2 down. Here's a base hit into the gap that's going to score 2 runners. The White Sox will take the lead in the bottom of the 5th, and Tim Anderson gets into second safely with no throw. That is a clutch hit for Tim Anderson. Next up, Yoan Moncada. Ground ball here, and he bobbles it. He bobbled it. And Moncada is going to be safe. Brandon Lowe with the mistake. Now comes up free agent acquisition Michael Brantley in a 1-1 count. We need a base hit. We need a base hit in the worst way. Extend this lead out. Here's a line drive. Way back. Way back. And as Hawk would put it, you can put it on the board. Yes. Home run. Michael Brantley, 3-run shot. It's going to be 6-2 in the bottom of the 5th inning. And now the White Sox offense, we talked about it, they've been suppressed all these last few games. These last 3 games, our offense has been suppressed, but it finally is busted out in a big way. And Keller is no more. They're going to the bullpen as JT Brubaker comes on, and here comes Jose Abreu. Yes, we are continuing the offensive push in this bottom of the 5th inning. That is Jimenez, who got on with a walk. Now here comes Mazzara with a slider. That's going to fall right in front of left fielder, and we are going to push Jimenez to try to score. He comes in standing up, so Mazzara scores Jimenez. It's now 7-2. Now the job is simple. The job is very simple. Make sure we're not giving up runs in multitude, runs in bunches. We can't have that happen. So let's skip ahead to the top of the 8th inning as Guerrero, who's been shut down all season long, gets a strikeout, gets a potential ground out here if Moncada makes the play. He does. Nice little bare hand throw, strong arm throw right there. That's a hell of a play by Moncada. 2 outs. There's a little flip to Brantley, and we're going to the top of the 9th. Is Robert Stock. Can he come through for us? Changeup is going to get the strikeout. 1 down. Josh Bell, base hit. Base hit, yeah. Every base hit matters, guys. Every base hit matters, because guess what? Anything can happen here. Brandon Lowe. He already hit a home run before, but luckily, Mazzara is going to camp underneath this one and make the play. And we have 2 outs. We need 1 more out. Didi Gregorius, high and inside fastball. Roberts camps underneath it. And the Chicago White Sox have won the 2021 World Series. And it took us 2 seasons. It took us 2 seasons with really not that big of moves in order to get this thing accomplished. The White Sox offense is potentially crazy good. And if you guys take the White Sox into a franchise mode, you got to look at that for sure, that the White Sox offense has got a lot of players in it that can mash. And that's the word I'm going to use for the White Sox. They are going to be able to sting the baseball in 2020, potentially 2021. Guys like Anderson, Moncada, Jimenez, Mazzara, Abreu. This is a loaded lineup, especially with Grandal. The pitching staff needs work, and yes, we acquired German Marquez. We got really good production out of Giolito. Bullpen, all you need is a couple pieces, and you can build a winner for the Chicago White Sox. We took 2 years to get it done. I'm impressed with how we did it. I think you don't need a whole lot of moves in order to get this thing accomplished. The White Sox are set up for multiple runs if you take them into franchise mode. So have fun with the White Sox, guys. I did, and I'm a Tigers guy. I hope you guys like this speed rebuild. Yeah, it was a little bit of an hour long, a little bit past an hour long, but I hope you guys had fun watching this thing. Like I said, I had fun bringing it to you guys. Leave a like if you like this thing. For more speed rebuild action, guys, make sure you leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know what team you want to see me do next for more realistic type of speed rebuild. the free agent acquisitions, the trades, we're trying to keep this thing as realistic as it possibly can be versus going out and trying to acquire all these players and make your team a super team. That's not how I like to do my rebuilds. It's not how I do my franchises in any series that I run. So make sure you guys are leaving a like and let me know what you thought. Let me know what you thought about this rebuild and if you appreciated the realism. So guys, I'll see you in the next one. As always, peace.